Well, a very, very happy Wednesday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and on X. Great to be with you today. We got a lot to cover, and I got to tell you right off the bat, we're going to do something different. Tomorrow night, we're going to have a live show at 7 p.m., and that'll take the place of the Friday show, but I figured I wanted to try this because the Padres are off tomorrow before Pittsburgh comes in. And we're going to have a live show tomorrow night from 7 until 8 o'clock. And we want to hear from you fans tomorrow night. There's going to be a lot to digest, a lot to chew on. And we're going to be here for you tomorrow night. So we'll give you your Padre fix on a Thursday night from 7 to 8. So we'll look forward to that. If you're tuning in for the very first time, we appreciate that. Would you please subscribe to the channel? It doesn't cost a dime, doesn't cost a nickel, doesn't cost a penny. Please subscribe to the channel, like it, and send your comments in. Now, we've got a couple of different ways you can be a part of the show. Coach's Mailbag is where you put things in on YouTube, and we'll maybe get them on the air. In Coach's Crew, that's what we're going to call the live questions, Coach's Crew. You want to be a part of Coach's Crew today, start typing in. If you don't get in today, then you might have a shot of being a part of Coach's Mailbag. Because we normally go back and take 2 or 3 questions from the prior show that we didn't get to, and we answer them on the air. So very much appreciate that. But remember, tomorrow night, 7 p.m., 7 to 8, live show talking Padres baseball on an off day before the Pittsburgh Pirates roll into town. See their win last night? They were down 6-0 like the Padres. They came back and beat the Arizona Diamondbacks. Beat them 9-6 last night. They had a 7-run inning late in the ball game to win that. So we're not going to see Paul Skeens. He's not going to pitch. But he will. He's pitching today, I believe. But the Pirates are in town. They're a gutty team, and of course they've already fired their manager Craig Shelton. They got Donnie Kelly managing the ball club now. They'll be in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, I know I was planning on doing a show Monday, but I'll be honest with you. I was gassed, and I needed to get caught up. And I want to tell you exactly how my week went. A week ago Monday, we did our only show. And I let everyone know, and I'd been telling you that I was going to be gone to do the Big West Baseball Championship up in Fullerton. And I was staying in Irvine. And I stayed in Irvine for 3 nights, thinking the tournament would probably be over on Saturday night. Well, the tournament wasn't over on Saturday night because Cal Poly run ruled Irvine. So they had to have a championship game on Sunday. So I drove home Saturday night, got home just before midnight, got in my car at about 10:30 on Sunday morning and drove back to Fullerton. And Cal Poly edged UC Irvine 6-4 to win the Big West Championship. They got the automatic berth in the NCAA tournament. And Irvine, who won the regular season by 1 game over Cal Poly, they ended up getting an at-large berth. So I did, along with my partner Steve Quiss, we did a total of 8 games on ESPN Plus in 5 days. A lot of baseball, a lot of good baseball. I saw Rich Hill, the former USD baseball coach who was with the Toreros for 23 seasons. He was coaching in the tournament. They got beat and eliminated by Cal Poly, but they played well. They played well. Rich Hill's doing a very, very nice job over at the University of Hawaii, just finishing up his 4th year. Had a great conversation, several great conversations with him. And I would like to thank all the schools that participated in the Big West Baseball Championship. I'd like to thank them for giving Steve and I so much help and letting us be a part of the baseball championships and the Big West Conference for hiring Steve and I. We had a great time. The broadcast went exceptionally well. I think everybody was very happy with what we brought to the table, and hopefully we'll get to do it again next year when they have it in Irvine. And Cal State Fullerton, a very good host. They went out in 2 games, which was unfortunate for the home squad but all the folks that work at Cal State Fullerton, part of their baseball program, and they had to work extra days because their team went out in the first couple of days of the tournament, but they all did a fantastic job and made it a very, very special tournament. It was the first Big West championship that they'd had in 27 years, a regular season tournament to have the automatic berth. Normally, the last 27 years, they just, hey, whoever won the regular season, they got the automatic berth out of the conference, but they decided to go with the Big West Championship, and I think it went very, very well. Next year, like I said, it'll be at UC Irvine. The following year, it will be at Long Beach State, and Long Beach State did not qualify this year for the tournament, but that's where I was. So I got home late on Sunday, and I go, you know what? I need to get prepared properly. I could have done a show Monday, and I'd have been tired, and I wouldn't have been as prepared as I am today. So I didn't want to, stay up all night long because I'd had a long weekend, 8 games in 5 days, and college games aren't over in 2.5 hours. They're usually 3 hours plus. So I took the day off, got my wits about me, got caught up on everything. Because I got to tell you, I was not having a happy road trip from the standpoint of my scoreboard when I was looking at the Padres. I mean, they got swept in Toronto. They won 2 out of 3 in Atlanta because Manny got hot there, but they did not swing the bat well at all on that road trip. Not at all, but they finished up 2-4 by salvage in that series in Atlanta, taking 2 out of 3, but a 2-4 road trip. They've come home and won the first 2 games against the Marlins. Let's talk about that. And again, send your questions in. Again, tomorrow night, 7 p.m., we're going to do a live show. So tell a friend. Okay, Monday night, Memorial Day, 40,872, another sellout, 2 hours and 57 minutes. Padres eke out a 4-3, 11-inning victory. 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position that night. Tyler Wade scores on a wild pitch with 2 outs in the 11th inning. I'll be honest, Padres are not playing great baseball right now. They really aren't. And if you take a look at the schedule after the Pirates series, is some people would say they're going to be starting to play real people. And they got some issues. They've got some real big issues, and we'll get into that in a minute. But Tyler Wade scores on a wild pitch. Manny Machado tied the game at 3 apiece, hits that home run, his 6th of the year, cranked it out of the ballpark. Padres had trailed 3-0 the other night after the first couple of innings, but they got back in the ball game. They're playing a bad ball club. I mean, man, God, Miami's just not very good. And if it wasn't for Jose Iglesias on Monday, Padres would have probably lost. He had a couple of hits. He had a 2-run double. He's doing a good job. He's 2 for 8 on the road trip. I'd like to see him play a little bit more myself. And then the other night he had a couple of hits. So Jose Iglesias getting the job done. Randy Vasquez, I guess you'd have to say he pitched okay the other night. He got himself in a bind early, but ended up going 6 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned a walk, 5 strikeouts, served up a homer. No decision, ERA 3.58. I could take that. If Randy Vasquez finished the year with a 3.58 ERA, I'd be very, very happy. Bullpen, great again. Peralta, David Morgan made his major league debut, retired both hitters he faced. Robert Suarez, 1 inning, hit a strikeout. Jason Adam, an inning, a strikeout. Adrian Morejon picked up the win, an inning and a strikeout. Him and Suarez were unavailable on Tuesday night. At the end of the day, really Padres offensively in that ball game, they had a total of 5 hits. They were out hit by Miami 7-5. I mentioned Jose Iglesias did a really nice job in that first ball game. Got a couple of hits, hitting in that key number 8 spot, that 2-run double in the 4th. Aside from that, Padres didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, Manny hit the home run to tie the ball game up, and they went on a wild pitch. So Monday night was great. They pulled off a victory and really didn't play all that great, but they hung in there. And then last night, Tuesday night, they are down 6-0 after Miami batted in the first inning. And Fernando comes up in the bottom of the first, homers to lead off the ball game. The Padres find a way to get back. I mean, man, really the key to that game was hit the ball to the second baseman, Ronnie Simon. How bad was that? Now remember, Manny a week ago made 3 errors in 1 inning. But Ronnie Simon, they gave him 4 errors. They took one away and gave Bogarts a hit because Simon got, I don't know, it was the umpire, the base runner. He got blocked. He couldn't see the ball. So they took the kid's error away. But he made really 4 errors, but 3 errors. And that play, he tried to shovel the ball over to second base. I've never seen a worse throw to second base in my life. I mean, I felt bad. I felt very uncomfortable for that kid. And they had a mound meeting, and Clayton McCullough, their first year manager, former Dodger first base coach, is trying to talk to him and talking to all his teammates are trying to, support him. I mean, yeah, that was he let the guys back in the ball game last night, and eventually they took him out of the lineup, took him out of the game. He'd had a hit earlier in the game. They took him out. He went up the dugout ramp. I mean, you could tell the kid was emotionally out of it. He had tears in his eyes. He was so upset. And I felt for him. You got a sellout crowd that's rooting that you'll play bad. And it was a rough one for Ronnie Simon. And you know what? I would hope that's the worst game he ever plays. I mean, that was bad. And I think even Padre fans felt sorry for that kid. And he had 4 errors, and then they took one away. He still had 3. But Padres get back in the game, and there are a lot of guys to talk about in Tuesday night's game, but you have to start with Stephen Kolek. And I know there were some seeing eye hits, but those balls were hit hard. He wasn't pitching well. I mean, balls are being hit at over 100 miles an hour in that first inning, and he gives up 6 runs. He ended up lasting 5 1/3 through 93 pitches. Now think about that. He gave up 6 runs in the first inning, and they're all earned runs. But he ends up going 5 1/3, 6 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 93 pitches, 57 strikes. He gives up 6 runs in the first inning, and he wins the ball. He gets the win. His record now 3-1. His ERA climbed up to 4.11. In the bullpen, who was undermanned last night, Sean Reynolds came in an inning and a third, 2 hits. He got a 6.55 ERA. He may get sent down today. It's going to be either him or David Morgan. I'm not sending Omar Cruz down because Omar Cruz hadn't pitched since he's been back up here. I want to get him into a ball game. So I would think that Reynolds will probably go down because even though he threw, I think, 12 pitches last night, inning and a third, they'll probably send him down. And because they got to make room for Kyle Hart. But last night, the bullpen, Reynolds did a good job. Inning and a third, 2 hits, no runs. Yuki Matsui, 1 inning, 1 hit, a walk, a strikeout. And Jeremiah Estrada got his first save of the year and his second in his major league career. Inning and a third, a hit, 2 strikeouts. ERA at 2.59. So you take that. Fernando, who's been in a real slump, and his body language has been terrible. Didn't have a good road trip. Didn't have a first game on Memorial Day at Petco, 0 for 5. Last night, leads off with his 13th homer of the year. Had another hit in the ball game. Drove in with that home run, his 28th RBI of the year. Luis Arraez drove in the go-ahead run last night, his 9th double, a couple of RBIs, 3 hits, trying to climb back to that 300 mark. He's at 289 right now. Manny 1 for 5 last night. Run scored. Jackson Merrill 1 for 3, 2 walks, his 5th homer. Xander Bogaerts 3 for 4, a walk, an RBI, hitting 243. And by the way, Xander was 1 for 18 on the road trip. Man, 1 for 18. That's a rough road trip. Jake Cronenworth 2 for 4, had that sac fly to drive in a run. Tyler Wade got a start out in left field last night, 1 for 4, a run scored and an RBI. So, hey, they came back and won. They're not playing great baseball, but they're winning. They're going to have to start playing great baseball, but they've got some issues. Left field is an issue, okay? And, we're going to talk about Kyle Hart. Kyle Hart is going to be recalled today. And Padres, like I mentioned, are going to have to make a move. And I think probably, I'm guessing Sean Reynolds. Dave Morgan threw pretty damn good the other night. He looked pretty good. Not that Reynolds didn't, but I think I would probably go with David Morgan, give him a little bit more of an opportunity. Because remember the first time they called him up, he didn't get to pitch at all, and then they sent him down. That really stinks, doesn't it? That really stinks. The guy gets called up for his major league debut and never gets in. And you never know. When you get sent down, you never know if you're going to get called up again. You know, there's a young man, and he may be watching this podcast. He used to come to the Valley Baseball School and Softball Academy down in Sorrento Valley when I used to run a baseball school back in the early 90s. I ran it for 5 years, and then I got out, and one of my players ran it for another 15. I gave lessons, worked with hitters, worked with pitchers, taught girls how to throw softball. And a guy by the name of Brian Mazzone, who had a great career at USD, played a number of years of professional baseball. Now, think about this. Brian Mazzone was pitching in AAA for the Philadelphia Phillies, and he gets called up. And he walks into the clubhouse, and his name is on the back of a jersey in a cubicle. He's going to pitch this ball game for the Philadelphia Phillies. And I don't know if it was a doubleheader, but anyways, he's supposed to pitch that day. He walks in, everything he'd been through in the minor leagues, and growing up and playing here in San Diego County, and working his way, bus rides and all that. He gets called up to the big leagues, and he's in Philadelphia getting ready to put on that major league uniform. And I'm sure he put it on, but he never got to pitch. The game got rained out, and he got sent back to the minors, and he never got called up again. How crappy is that? And David Morgan, that happened to him, but Padres called him back up, and he made his major league debut the other night and pitched very well. He faced two batters, got two batters out, and throwing, in the high 90s. So I'd like to see him stay around for a while, give him a little bit more opportunity so we can see what we have there. They called him up from AA, but I thought I'd share that Brian Mazzone story with you. So Kyle Hart's getting called up today. And I don't really know what to think about this. Kyle Hart at Petco Park this year has been amazing. He's been as good a pitcher as there is in baseball when he pitches in his home ballpark. Okay. He last pitched with the Padres on April 23rd at Detroit. His numbers that day were 4 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, both homers, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. Okay, and then he got sent down. Remember, the Padres, they had some time off, and they wanted to keep him rolling, and they didn't need basically a fifth starter. Okay, so they sent him down. But when he's pitched at Petco Park this year, he's been amazing. In 2 starts, he's 2-0 with a 1.64 ERA, 11 innings pitched at home, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, giving up 2 home runs. 2-0 and a 1.64. Okay, away starts. He's made 3. He's 0-2 with a 10.80 ERA in 10 innings, giving up 17 hits, 12 earned runs, 4 homers, 5 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Batters on the road against Kyle Hart are hitting 370. I mean, 370. The home teams are hitting 370 against Kyle Hart when he's pitching on the road. I mean, if you look in the opponent's dugout, there's like a free-for-all. There's a fight at the bat rack to get to the plate against this guy when he pitches on the road. And when he pitches at Petco Park, he's given up a 162 average. I mean, it's amazing how this guy has been as good as there's been in baseball this year at home, and he has a hard time getting anybody out on the road. Now, I don't know what you're getting this afternoon. And we'll get into Sandy Alcantara here in a minute. But Kyle Hart had a little more extended time down in AAA than he probably thought when he originally was sent down. He's made 4 AAA starts. He's 2-0 with a 2.29 ERA in 19 and 2/3 innings. But you know what? He has had to have pitched really well with runners in scoring position because he's got a 1.37 whip. And in 19 and 2/3 innings, he has walked 15 and struck out 16. So I don't know what we're getting today at Petco Park at 110. I'm hoping we get the Petco Park version of Kyle Hart, not the AAA version of him walking guys. 15 walks and 19 and 2/3 innings down in AAA, but only a 2.29 ERA. And definitely don't want to see the Kyle Hart who's pitched on the road 3 times this year where hitters are hitting him at a 370 clip. Now, Sandy Alcantara, who's got a Cy Young on his mantle, coming back from Tommy John, been awful. 2-7 and an 8.04 ERA. And you know that he has given up 42 earned runs this year? That's the most in Major League Baseball right now. 42 earned runs this early in the year for Sandy Alcantara. And people say, well, you never know when he's gonna, get back to being the same old Sandy Alcantara. I don't know if it will be this year. And there's talk that teams may want to trade for him. Well, I wouldn't trade for him. He can't get anybody out right now. So that's what you got. Again, Alcantara 2-7 and an 8.04. Kyle Hart on the year 2-2 at the big league level with a 6 even ERA. All right, let's take a look at some trade rumors. Okay, and I'm going to let you decide on this one. Okay, I did a lot of diligent work. Before I talk about trade rumors, I always try to really look deeper into the ball players, who they are, what they've done, and where can they go. Okay, and we're going to start with Luis Robert Jr., the Chicago White Sox. Yeah, if you watch the MLB network, he's always on there. They're showing highlights of games in the past, saying, oh, this guy's one of the best players in baseball. Bull. He ain't one of the best players in baseball. Does he have outstanding talent? Incredible talent. A few years ago, people said, wow, he could be the next Mike Trout. He's not the next Mike Trout, okay? A lot like Trout, he's had injuries, but he still never really performed even close. Other than 1 year where he hit 38 home runs, he hadn't really done a whole lot. Okay, now Luis Robert Jr. is going to be a free agent at the end of this year. Now, I'm going to take you through the contracts and what he's got as far as club options with the White Sox. And I'd want to get away from the White Sox if I was Luis Robert Jr. Aside from, they kind of know who I am and I don't have to go and make new friends and maybe actually have to produce on a consistent basis to where the fans, may get on me if I'm not performing real well. Let me take you through this guy a little bit. He's 27 years of age. He's in the last year of a 6-year, $50 million deal. This year, he's making $15 million. Now, next year, there is a club option for $20 million. So if the Padres were to trade for Luis Robert Jr., they would have to pick up the $20 million salary if they wanted to do that. Now, if you're going to trade him, you're going to have to give up something probably fairly significant. He has made an all-star team, but he's been in and out of the lineup. But let me take you through this. So again, finishing up a 6-year deal at $50 million, club option for $20 million next year. If you didn't decline it, you'd give him a $2 million buyout, and then 2027, same deal, $20 million club option, $2 million buyout. And again, this season, making $15 million. His agent, shocker, Scott Boras. Okay. All-star in 2023. Now listen to what he did in 2023. Hit 264 with 36 doubles, a triple, 38 homers and 80 RBIs, and 595 plate appearances. He struck out 172 times. That's by far his best year in the big leagues. Okay, last year, 2024, he played in 100 games. He hit 224 with a 278 on-base percentage. 14 homers, 35 RBIs, 141 punch-outs last year. This year, 51 games, hitting 190 with a 276 on base percentage, 5 homers, 20 RBIs, a slug, 307, an OPS of 583. Does have 21 stolen bases, been caught 5 times. That's actually fairly high. So, are you a big believer, a new lease on life? Maybe get him out from one of the worst teams in baseball, a team that set the all-time um, record for losses last year. Give him a new lease on life here in San Diego. Where do you stand on that, Padre fans? Because there's been talk that the Padres have talked to the White Sox. I haven't, talked to AJ Preller about it, but the word on the street is the Padres are kicking the tires on a lot of organizations right now because Jason Hayward is on the IL with an oblique. And when I was looking at the injury report, it's saying he may not come back to July or August. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Jason Hayward will come back. He may not come back. He may have played his last game for the San Diego Padres because the guy's hitting in the 170s. And now you've got a catcher hitting 171 in Martin Maldonado. You can only suicide squeeze and have safety bunts so often. But hitting 171. And Diaz is not swinging the bat all that well right now either. That's another area the Padres have got to be looking at. And there's this talk about, maybe they can make a deal with Baltimore to get Cedric Mullins and Adley Rutschman. They're not going to get Adley Rutschman. They may be able to get Cedric Mullins. Now, I'll tell you about Cedric Mullins. I like Cedric Mullins. I like him a lot better than I like Luis Robert. And the thing about Cedric Mullins, left-hand hitter, he can play center. Not going to play center here. He'd play left. Give the Padres another left-handed bat. When you go around, you got Cronenworth at first, or you got a Rise at first, and you got Cronenworth at second, 2 left-hand hitters. You got Jackson Merrill, a left-hand hitter. We could take on another left-hand hitter, even with Gavin Sheets in the lineup. But Cedric Mullins this year, final year of his deal in Baltimore, and then he becomes an unrestricted free agent 1 year, $8.725 million. Padres would be on the hook for about half of that if they made that deal. Now, he's not having a great year. Hitting 226, 10 homers, 31 RBIs, at 320 on base percentage, having a hell of a lot better year than Luis Robert Jr. And to me, I like Cedric Mullins. I like the way he plays. I'd love to see him come in here to, just rent a vet. I'd much rather, and it's going to cost you less than if you go after Luis Robert Jr. because he's so well thought of, even though his numbers don't scream superstar. He had the one good year, and that's it. Mets apparently are interested in Cedric Mullins Jr. I don't know about if that's true or not. I think I called him Cedric Mullins Jr. Just Cedric Mullins. Luis Robert Jr. We got all these juniors running around. Most of them can play too. So give me your take. Who would you rather have, Luis Robert Jr. or Cedric Mullins? I'd rather have Mullins, and I'll stand behind that. Okay. Let's get to injury updates. And I got a few for you. Jason Hayward, I mentioned, out with the left oblique, 10-day IL, May 24th. Not expected to return to July or August. They may have tapped him on the shoulder and said, hey, we're going to work with you. If we can find your swing, great. If not, we'll pay you. But, we got to go a different direction. Michael King, right shoulder inflammation. And this is kind of an odd one, isn't it? But a lot of times Padre pitching injuries are a little bit odd. He was placed on the IL May 25th, retroactive to May 22nd. He was scratched from his scheduled start May 24th. They're saying he's going to be back in June, and they said he's got right shoulder inflammation. They said he slept on his shoulder wrong. Okay. I guess you can do that. I mean, I wake up every once in a while with a sore shoulder because I rolled it under my pillow or something. But they're saying he's got right shoulder inflammation. I've never come up with right shoulder inflammation when I've slept. Maybe you have. But I'll leave it at that. But let's get Michael King back on there. The other thing was kind of interesting. I think he talked with the media yesterday, but it took a few days before anybody was able to even find Michael King to get a comment from him on, which is kind of odd. Now, the Yu Darvish situation, for crying out loud, what is going on with that? Seriously. You look at you, right elbow inflammation. Made one rehab start May 14th, and we're at May 28th today. He dealt with some soreness afterwards, and Mike Schultz said he's making steps forward. Well, he played catch on Monday. On Memorial Day, he played catch, and probably going to play catch today. Maybe played catch yesterday. You know what? With you, I don't know when he's going to come back. And the Padres, they're tight-lipped. He's on his own program, so I don't know. I guess when he thinks he can pitch, he'll tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, I'm ready to go." But the Yu Darvish situation for me is starting to get a little frustrating. Padres are paying this guy some pretty good money, and he's going to be 39 years of age this summer, and really hadn't pitched a whole lot the last couple of years. And I'm a big Yu Darvish fan. I think he's a real pro. But you know what? Maybe Father Time's catching up with him. We'll have to wait and see on that. The other guy that I was going to mention, and just because I looked at the box score last night for El Paso, Brian Hoeing, who we haven't seen all year. He got hurt early in spring training. He's been down working. Last night he made a rehab appearance for El Paso. I don't think it went well. I haven't heard anybody comment on it, but looking at his numbers, it didn't go well. He went a third of an inning. He gave up a hit, 2 walks, threw 20 pitches, 10 strikes, and they took him out of the ball game. So I don't think we're going to see him anytime soon. So there you have it. Okay, time for Coach's Crew. I want a little bit of a roll call since I've been gone, and we only did one show last week, and that was a week ago Monday. I want to hear from you. Where are you watching the show from today? So let's get to some comments, and we'll get rolling. Matthew, thank you very much. That'll help for pay my gas bill going up and down the freeway last week to Fullerton. Coach, even as a Dodger fan, the Pods and Giants have performed much better than we expected. I don't understand the doomers for the Padres. Well, I think when you take a look at the Dodgers are playing pretty good for the most part. They got their issues with the pitching staff. I don't know. Padre fans just get very frustrated. They expect perfection here. I think they want to win a world championship. And every year that goes by, the window closes a little bit more. I think the window's a little more open this year than I thought it was going to be. But again, it comes down to pitching. Bullpen's been good. Bullpen's been overused to this point. You got some guys doing okay, but the Padres right now, Matthew, they've got a couple of spots they've got to upgrade. Unless they want to put Gavin Sheets out in left field full time, they need to get a left fielder. I'd love to get Cedric Mullins. I mean, if Luis Robert Jr. came, maybe with Manny and Bogarts being here and Tatis, maybe it'd raise his level. But offhand, I think I'd rather have Cedric Mullins, and that way I'm not on the hook for $20 million each of the next 2 years, even though I'd have the ability to decline that. I don't know if the Padres want to pay $20 million for a left fielder next year or the next 2 years. We'll see. But Matthew, I really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. And Dodgers are playing today. I'm kind of anxious to see how Kershaw throws. First time out, didn't throw well. Last time they had the rain and he only pitched 2 innings and they didn't bring him back after the rain delay. So I'm kind of anxious to see him pitch later today against the Guardians in Cleveland. They're trying to sweep the Guardians. They won the first couple of ball games. But Matthew, thank you very much. Okay, let's keep it rolling a little bit. Hello from Florida, O2RR. O2RR, you got a question for me? But I appreciate you checking in. Casey King, hello from Arizona. Man, I'll tell you, the Diamondbacks now, they're a game under 500. How about that? Everybody keeps waiting for the Diamondbacks to kind of wake up and get rolling. Agree 100%. I'd take Cedric Mullins too, O2RR. Yeah, I kind of like the way he plays. He gets a little frustrated from time to time, but you know what? Who doesn't? He got called out the other day on just a brutal pitch, Cedric Mullins. But I kind of like his demeanor, and I think he's a really good player. But I appreciate that, and I totally agree with you. Okay, Luis, good morning, Coach. What about a trade with the Marlins for Jesus Sanchez or Stowers? Well, The Marlins, I really don't know what the Marlins are doing, but Kyle Stowers, a local kid, went to Christian high school, went to Stanford, having a big year right now. He struck out last night to end the ball game. I know he would have loved to rip a two-run homer to tie that ball game up last night in front of his friends and family. Jesus Sanchez, good player. But we've already fleeced the Marlins. We not only got Luis Arraez last year, but we got Luis Arraez to where the Marlins paid the freight last year on his contract. I don't know if AJ can go back to that well, but I'd take either one of those guys. I like both Sanchez and Stowers, but those are guys they're trying to build around, if that's what they're really going to try to do. But Luis, I like your idea on that. Very good. Okay, let's keep them rolling a little bit. Casey King, welcome back, Coach. First off, great job on the broadcast of the Big West tournament with Steve Quiz, with NCAA baseball tournament starting now. How do you think my USC Trojans will do in the tournament? Casey, Andy Stankiewicz is a really good coach. I remember watching him play. I met him when he was an assistant for Andy Lopez way back when at the University of Arizona. Then he became the head coach at Grand Canyon University, did a great job there. And when he got the SC job a few years ago, I said, you know what, he'll get this thing turned around. He's doing a good job. I think West Coast baseball is really underrated. And thank you for the comments on the Big West tournament. I really enjoyed doing that. I hope I can do it again next year. Big West baseball is really good. I mean, Irvine and Cal Poly. And by the way, Cal Poly, their first two hitters in the lineup were both San Diego kids. Zach Daudet from Claremont High School at Chieftain and Ryan Finn from Granite Hills. Both guys were on the all tournament team, and Ryan Finn was actually the MVP of the Big West Championship. So it was nice to see some San Diego kids have some success. There were other San Diego kids in that tournament, but the Big West is good. Fullerton's a little down. And hopefully Coach Dietrich can get them to bounce back. Hawaii's got a good ball club. Now, Hawaii, after next year, will be going to the WAC, which isn't a conference as good as the Big West. And quite frankly, the Big West is probably the best conference in the Western region now. Mountain West Conference is not very good at all. And the Big West is really good. I mean, you got UC Irvine, you got UC Santa Barbara, you got Cal State Fullerton, you've got Long Beach State, Cal Poly. Coach Lee up there does an incredible job. A lot of really, really good coaches in the Big West, along with really good players. But getting to your question, I know SC was maybe the last team to get in because there's so much bias with the SEC and ACC. I think SC they'll come out and compete. I don't know if they've got enough of pitching to win a regional this weekend. I think they would probably, if they could get by that, they may match up with whoever they would match up with in the super regional a little bit better. But I would just say, like a lot of teams, better win that first game in the regional. If not, you just run out of pitching. That's just the way it is. But it's good to have SC back in the NCAA baseball tournament. Thank you very much, Casey. I appreciate that and appreciate the kind words. Abraham, extend Luis Arraez. Amen to that. I love this guy. I love him. You know what? Last night there were some great defensive plays. Even though the Padres were down 6-0, they come back, they win the ball game. Manny had an incredible play going down the line again last night. They turned that double play. Bogarts had his moments last night where he made a couple of great plays. But Luis Arraez is doing a great job at first base. For a guy that was a second baseman and very, middle of the road second baseman, he is doing a great job at first base. You know why? Because the guy comes to the ballpark every day and works at it. He just doesn't show up to swing the bat 4 times a night. He comes and works at it and doing a hell of a job. I'm a big Luis Arraez fan. But Abraham, what do you pay Luis Arraez? I think, to me, that's the problem. How much do you pay him? How much can you pay him to play a power position being a non-power player. I mean, I don't know where he falls in the pay scale. He's making what, 14 million this year? Can you really pay him 20 million to play first base? And maybe hit, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 home runs. I don't know. I don't think you can. So I don't know what they're going to do with him. Now, if he was a second baseman, I'd sign him right away. But I don't know what the market is going to be for Luis Ariz. You want to give him 15 million in a 3-year deal, 45 million, or is there somebody out there that can bring him in as a final piece to their puzzle to, be with a contender? I mean, would the Mets bring him in and pay him that kind of money? They might. But he's not a great defensive second baseman. He's really worked hard to become a good first baseman. And he's still not there yet. He's not going to win a Gold Glove, I don't think. But to me, I don't know what you pay him. Make it 14 million. I mean, that's probably kind of in the area that you need to pay him. I mean, do you want to go, and he's still young enough. I mean, do you want to go 4 years? At 14 million a year for 4 years? I don't know. $56 million for 4 years. I don't know what you do on that. Abraham, thank you very much. Good stuff on that. Okay, a good job on Coach's Crew comments today. I like that. Okay, let's get to the National League standings. Oh, the National League. The Philadelphia Phillies playing some good baseball right now, and that's without Aaron Nola really getting it going to this point. 35-19, a game and a half lead over the New York Mets. I don't like to root against players, but I do have to take a look every day and see how Juan Soto did. And he's not having a big year right now. 34-21, but he's not having a big year. Atlanta Braves 25-28. Washington Nationals 24-30. How about the 3 guys? Now Robert Hassel actually got called up, and I don't know what he's going to be able to get done. But James Wood, the big outfielder, having a good year. C.J. Abrams, after a slow start, having a good year. And then you got Mackenzie Gore, 24-30. But those 3 guys are proven to be damn good major league players. Miami Marlins sitting at 21-32. The old waiting next year for them. The Cubbies at a 3-game lead over the Cardinals. Cardinals are playing good. Cubs at 34-21. St. Louis at 31-24, and then you got the Reds hanging in there at 28-28. See if they pull off a deal to get a little help maybe on the mound. Milwaukee Brewers at 28-28, and then the Pittsburgh Pirates, who we're going to see this coming weekend at Petco Park, 20-36. You look at that Central right now. You got 2 teams at the 500 mark. And then you got the other 2 teams that are playing pretty well in the Cubs and Cardinals. Ollie Marmol got the Cardinals playing very good baseball. Then in the National League West, the Dodgers, 34-21. Ohtani has homered in 3 straight games. Guy's amazing. Padres sitting at 31-22, back to 9 games over 500, 2 games back. The Giants 31-24. They've slowed down a little bit. They're 3 games back. I mentioned the Diamondbacks at 27-28, a game under, 7 games back. And then the Rockies, 9-46. How pathetic is that? I mean, seriously, how pathetic is that? 9-46. And they actually beat the Yankees the other day. So there's the National League standings for you. Just absolutely brutal. Just absolutely brutal. Okay, what else we got today? I did the pitching matchups. We got Kyle Hart going against Sandy Alcantara, and we're gonna get back to our questions here in a little Coach's Crew comments. Bit surprised with their crazy extreme record splits between AL and National League teams. Padres 10-17 versus the AL, 21-5 versus National League teams. That is really weird, isn't it? 10-17. And, Toronto took them to the woodshed pretty good. Toronto, there's another team. The Toronto Blue Jays kind of underachieves. I think they're better than their record. but they always seem to underachieve a little bit. But no, I agree with you. That's a really odd number. In fact, tomorrow night, when we're on 7 to 8, I'm going to take a look at some numbers. After today, I'm going to take a look at some of the numbers and splits, and we'll talk about that tomorrow night. But I want you to come in tomorrow night with your question. We're going to have a fun time tomorrow night from 7 to 8 o'clock. So please tell a friend that we're going to be here. Okay, what do we got on the coach's mailbag? Let's get the coach's mailbag a little bit. Camper Matt, if you were the manager, what would you be telling the team at this point? Well, we're going to keep grinding, that's for sure. I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to make excuses. I'm a little more forthcoming uh, than I think Mike Schilt is. Mike Schilt's always wanting to sing the praises, and I'm fine with that. And it was a great win last night. But, his team has some warts from time to time. They didn't play well on the road trip. Manny bailed them out in Atlanta. I mean, they were not very good in Toronto. It almost looked like there was something going on with the ball club when you watched them. They just didn't look right at all. But I don't know. I'm a little more forthcoming, and I don't like managers to make excuses for ball club. You're not going to play great 162 games a year. It's just not going to happen. And last night I watched the post game, and I'm going, okay, I know I'd have been excited. I would have been excited. And I got to tell you this. And I don't go to the games much. I mean, I watch the game. I'm going to the game Saturday night. I'll look forward to it. And I never went into those post-game press conferences, but I'll tell you, Mike Schilt dictates the tempo of those press conferences. Nobody goes down there and really asks them real good questions. I mean, they're softballs. I mean, like 12-foot arc. And I'd like to see, some tougher questions asked when needed. Now, you just don't come in there and go, oh, I'm going to go down and ask the manager a tough question. But, if your ball club's not playing well, and they've won 2 in a row at home, and that's great. But, hey, how about this guy? Or, what are you seeing? Xander went 1 for 18 on the road trip. Well, he's grinding, he's doing work on the K. Well, yeah, but he's not producing. What do you do here? Or your team has kicked the ball around a little bit, or they made a base running mistake. I'm more about honesty is the best policy. And like with pitching, he never seems to know what went on. Well, so and so was playing. Oh, was he? Oh, yeah, I haven't heard that yet. You know what? Any manager worth his salt, they know everything that goes on. They know every time a guy is pitching a ball, playing catch, if he's coming off an injury. Don't let him sandbag you. Okay, that's what I have to say. I think I'm a little more forthcoming. And I know the Padre organization over the years has really changed. When Kevin Towers was here, Bruce Bochy, Buddy Black, they had such a great decorum with the media. They'd be very honest with you. And nowadays things have changed, not only with the Padres, but it's changed in baseball. Football kind of started it. Everything's a secret. And I always looked at the media as being the conduit between the organization and the fan base to give them good quality information. Well, you got to get a shovel and dig deep to find that good information now. And a lot of people don't want to do that. But, whenever I come on and I state stuff, it's because I've gotten good information. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. That's for damn sure, or make up stories. Okay, that's what I got, Camper Matt. I'd be a little more forthcoming, and we're going to continue to work hard, and hopefully our pitching staff's able to get back in there. But don't let managers tell you, well, I didn't see that today, or I didn't know. The manager knows everything. If the manager does not know everything that's going on with his ball club, then he shouldn't be the manager, quite frankly. That's my opinion. Manager knows everything that's going on, and if he says he doesn't, then he probably lying to you. Okay, what else we got? SD fandom. When does a trade happen? I feel like it could rejuvenate the team. I got to believe AJ's working on a deal right now. You got to get a left field. You got to get some help in here. And I'm still looking for a catcher. And I know the pitchers, they'll get all hot and bothered. They got to bring in a new catcher. We got to hit. I mean, Maldonado did a good job, but he's hitting 171 now. And Diaz, what's Diaz hitting? Diaz, he's not hitting much better right now. He went 0 for 4 last night with a punch out. He's hitting 221. Can you have two catchers hitting this bad? Now, I think Diaz got a chance to hit a hell of a lot better than Maldonado. And then if he is, then he probably got to get a little more of the work behind the plate. But how many nights can you run back a 171 hitter to catch? Man, catching, I'll tell you what, catching right now at the major league level, trying to find a good catcher who can hit, or just a good catcher who can block balls. Man, catching right now is just at an all-time low for me. That's what I got. But I got to believe AJ is working on it. You got to get a left fielder. And like I said, if Jason Hayward is going to be out until July or August, I think he's probably played his last game in a Padres uniform. They'll pay him because he's a good guy. He can be a presence in the clubhouse, work with Jackson Merrill, give him some good advice on things to do, work on playing the outfield, what to look for, because Jackson's still very young as a major league outfielder. But I think Jason Hayward, he may end up just being a high-paid coach this year. I don't know if we'll see him back in the Padre lineup if he's going to be out till July or August, because by that time, the Padres should have made a trade. And we've had Lockridge out there. Wade started out there. Gavin Sheets has been out there. They're putting everybody out there besides you and me. What else we got in Coach's Mailbag today? Got any more Coach's Crew questions? Huh? We got any more Coach's Crew? I like those. Those are a lot of fun. Okay, now, big deal. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, 7 to 8. I'm looking forward to this. I'm very much looking forward to this tomorrow night. We're going to have a good time. We're going to really be able to break some things down. We don't have to talk about a game. We're going to talk about what's going on. We're going to take a look at where the Padres are at, where everybody else is at, and we'll get to your questions. And again, thank you for those supers. Very much appreciate that. Tomorrow night, 7 to 8. Please subscribe to the channel. I need more subscriptions. Okay? If not, you'll force me into retirement. And I like talking Padres baseball. But more than anything else, thank you for tuning in. And again, tomorrow night, we're going to be on at 7 o'clock. And then on Monday, we'll get back pretty much to our regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. There's times where I have to get off for personal reasons, where I can't do it at 9 o'clock. I have doctor's appointments. I have things I have to take care of personally. And boy, I'll tell you what, it's tough to get appointments sometimes with those doctors. I mean, they schedule them 6 months out. But everything's good with me. But I do have some appointments coming up. But next week, we'll get back to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. But tomorrow night, a special 7 o'clock show. And that'll act as our Friday show. So 7 to 8 tomorrow night. Get your questions, get them in. If you couldn't get in today, you'll be able to get in tomorrow. Again, the Padres playing the final game in their series against the Marlins this afternoon at 1:10 at Petco Park. Left-hander Kyle Hart being recalled from AAA El Paso. Padres are going to have to make a roster move, and the Padres are going to be facing former Cy Young Award winner of a few years back, Sandy Alcantara, who's having a really rough go coming back from Tommy John surgery. Until then, enjoy the game today, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night live at 7 o'clock on the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Have a great day and enjoy the ball game, everyone. Bye-bye.